Hey, what's up everybody? This is Jared Rivera, also known as Reezy Vera, and today we're going to be talking about masculine and feminine energies. The energies of the universe and creation. Let's see. Well, when it comes down to it, everything's one and there's only one. And the breaking down of masculine energies into being masculine and feminine really is only an illusion and only serves to better help understand appearances. So in that sense, really all what we term masculine energies are actually feminine energies, and all feminine energies are actually masculine energies, and there really aren't any masculine energies or feminine energies. So it is a paradox, but it is unnecessary. It is absolutely necessary. So I'm going to go and I'm going to show you these diagrams to kind of give you a visualization of what I mean and what I'll be saying during the course of this video. So here we are. I actually have another video called the dynamics of twin flame, or twin flame science. Either way, either one. They actually go into basically the same thing as what I'm going to show you now. A lot of the information is the same information because twin flame does have everything to do with masculine and feminine energies. So we're going to go into this really fast. Here we have this black circle that's representing purity, is representing source, is representing pure source, pure consciousness. The very center, the center of all things, and the source or the force, or whatever you want to call it, that everything exists within. This circle literally represents God. And so this being here literally is the perfect masculine and feminine being. This is Father / Mother God. It is not a man, and it's not male, and it's not masculine, and it's not feminine, it's not female. It is actually a perfect balance of both. It's the only thing in creation. Well, it is the only thing in creation, period. In truth, everything else is only appearances, and it's the only thing in creation that has a absolute perfect balance of masculine and feminine energies, and just perfect balance, period. So let's go. Let's draw this line here, and this line is just representing, just duality, in a sense, and one, you can look at one side as being masculine and the other side being feminine, but like I just said a second ago, it could be either or, and they're both the same. So that's just very simple, very basic, and we're going to go into a different diagram. Let me see, is it this one? Yep. So it's just again the same thing basically, except I've colorized it to show. We'll say the red is the masculine side and the blue is the feminine, and so you have these equal pairs that are opposite at the same time, so they're equal opposite, which makes them twin flame. You're just this is the divine masculine and this is the divine feminine. They are one. So that is God, source, and then these are just two different sides of creation, or aspects of creation. There's very many different ways we can actually look at just this one very simple thing. And again, you can switch sides. This could be the divine masculine, and this could be the feminine here on the red side. And so, let me see what we're gonna do here. Okay, let's do this. Let's say that this is that same void that is just an infinite space where any and all things are possible. That same black circle, any and all things are possible within that void. Absolutely anything can appear inside of that field of consciousness. It just is inherent within its nature. It's just perfect in all ways and can do absolutely anything. So it could make a little circle just sit there in creation by itself for eternity, and that would be all that happens. It can make that circle be sitting there and feel like it's there by itself for all eternity, but have a whole entire universe of very many things happening over here, so-called, that has no perception of the little sphere or circle sitting by itself, and it goes both ways. You know, I mean, it can do anything. So anything that you can put into your imagination, that's what this field can do. And so, oh, sorry, I dropped you. Sorry about that. So, so in this, let's say that in this blue side, all this, I guess if you guys can kind of see that, it's just like, looks kind of like this, the circle is made up of, you know, smaller little rivets and little dots. And let's say that each one of those is a potential universe. And so, you know, if I'm looking at it from on high, what this perspective would be, you know, it would be, you know, they look like they're the same universe, but let's say that there's actually something different happening in each of these universes. And so, they're all parallel universes, and they're all in the masculine or the feminine side of creation. So all these are feminine universes where the energy is overall feminine. So in these universes, in this feminine universe, or a side of creation, you would have much more joy, there would be much more love, compassion, and just positivity overall. Everything would be far more abstract. It would obviously depend on varying factors, like which dimensional realm you are in the particular feminine universe, and whatever else. But you know, there would be more abstract thinking, just abstract concepts, abstract beings. You know, you would. There would be a lot less, or a lot more, I guess things would be based more off curves and circles and spheres and more open concepts than you know, confined concepts such as squares and rectangles and whatever else. And let's see. There'd be the people. Let's say that there's people in these universes. They would have more, you know, childlike thinking and more creativity, and yeah, and there wouldn't be. Interestingly, there wouldn't be any need for struggle for them to strengthen themselves, people to strengthen themselves in order to, you know, go through anything to be able to make it, you know, in the world. They wouldn't have to do that at all, because they would just be at, or not at, well, I guess they would be at peace. They would actually be at peace, and there wouldn't be any need to struggle or grow, and there really wouldn't be any growth in a very real sense, at least as far as a very large side of what makes this reality here a reality. You know, there wouldn't be really any growth at all. You kind of just be chill and just laid back in that reality. You wouldn't have to do anything, or too much of anything at least. And so, you know, the feeling of need to do something and have to do something and work and stuff like that, that concept would be, you know, sorry, that concept would pretty much be non-existent. And so, I guess I can give you an example. I'll bring it to the center. I'll bring it here where we are. You know, and the Earth is a masculine place, and it is a mostly, you know, it's a man's world. You know, that's where that phrase comes from, subconsciously. For the human race, is we live in an overall masculine world, masculine energy based planet, and you know, but we have both sides of the masculine feminine energy here on the planet. But if we were to go, you know, well, I'll say, you know, we have, you know, war and violence and just all sorts of corruption in our world, and that's all a part of the masculine side of thinking. Sexuality is a very, you know, it's kind of lustful, one way kind of thing, and all this, whatever else you see around the earth is a product of the masculinity of the planet, and get down to the technology, the architecture, and everything. So if we were to go into the higher realms, it would be basically the opposite, the complete opposite. And so you can imagine what that would be. And we could even go to the higher astral realms, which would be, you know, far more abstract. It would be far more colorful, far more variations of color. You know, just far more creativity and less stress and captivity in every sense that you can think of it. So we're gonna go and we're gonna do the same thing and look on the other side, and we'll just do this really fast with the same thing where all these little nodes are the potential universes and their parallel universes, and they you know, they're the masculine sides of creation, and so in these would be very, very destructive universes, and they all pretty much end up destroying themselves. The beings within them would end up destroying themselves, and that actually does happen in the world, in the universe, on different planets and stuff like that, where the beings are overly masculine. And so it actually happened on Mars 25 million years ago. It's an interesting fact, but that's a whole nother story. So anyways, okay, so we're gonna do this. Just look at this. It's the same, basically the same picture, but we're gonna go and look a little bit more. Let's just say that, you know, Source ordains these energies to start intersecting and interacting. So the masculine, the feminine begins to enter the masculine, and the masculine begins to enter the feminine. And it's kind of can't really tell that it's red over here with this camera and the lighting, but that's red inside the blue. And so, you know, now there's a mixture. There's a beginning to be a mixture of masculine and feminine energies with each other, and then over here it's kind of the same thing. It's just, you know, within that creation, that universe, I just drew very crude representations of, you know, the energies interacting, and how it complicates the vibration. It complicates, you know, the vibration, which would automatically complicate the possibilities within the realities. So wherever you see red touching blue and blue touching red, you're gonna have different, you know, masculine and feminine interactions, which can amount to all sorts of things. So eventually, what you would get if you had a really good balance of masculine and feminine energies, or at least a much better one, you would get this. You would get a world. You would get a world like our world, that is just all sorts of things and people and different types of thought and just different interactions, and you know, it goes into everything, even the ecology, um, astrological influences, um, I mean everything. And so, you know, our world is a mixture of masculine and feminine energies, um, masculine and feminine thinking. You know, we're gradually coming from a very masculine age. You know, where you just had an insane war and violence and hatred and separation, racism and whatever else, and coming into just more peace and understanding of one another. Um, let me see. You know, every single person on this world, has masculine and feminine both together. It's not male and female. It's not the same thing. Um, not quite. It's not quite the same thing. You know, every man has testosterone, and every man has estrogen. Every female has testosterone, and every female has estrogen. There's just one has more than the other, or normally has more than the other, and that's what those energies are representing. Is, you know, their masculine and feminine spirit. And there's a lot of more complexity too, because it goes in it goes into the, you know, yourself in the higher realms and the astral realms, and then in the fifth dimensional realms, and just basically from here, and yourself in the physical and your twin flame, and or whoever is in your family or whoever you're around, and, you know, their astral self, and then their, you know, higher self in the fifth dimension, and higher self in the sixth dimension, and on up and up and up and up, and it just, you know, combines and just keeps going on and on and on, and it's just a whole huge, super complex masculine and feminine dance that never ends, basically. And so, you know, we all have masculine and feminine energies, and some people have. Everybody has different balances of it. Some people have are super masculine, and that's why some men, you know, you'll see them. They just are bulky, and they have, you know, probably muscular. They most likely will think highly of themselves, and you know, they'll probably be womanizers, and you know, just say, you know, this is a man's world, and it's a, you know, don't send a woman to do a man's job, and they'll think, you know, work all your life until you die and stuff like that. You know, um, there's just, I mean, you know, it's kind of obvious when you just sit there and think about it, what a really overly masculine man is going to be, and an overly feminine woman, what that's going to be is, you know, it goes both ways, and then, you know, you have like homosexuals, both sides. You know, homosexual men are gonna have too much estrogen, or rather, an imbalance of estrogen. We all have an imbalance on the earth. Everyone on the earth has an imbalance of estrogen and testosterone. At least most people do. Most people, I can't say everyone. Um, and you know, and it goes both ways. So, what we're all doing is that we're all on a journey to find the perfect balance of masculine and feminine energies, and that's what Source is, and that's where we all go back to. That's our evolutionary journey, if we so choose. And so, we, you know, we just go on this journey of, you know, regaining our, you know, for men regaining our feminine selves, and for women regaining their masculine selves. I think it would be easier for women in this age, coming out of this age, because they're already overly masculine. They don't even know it, but they are. Most women are, and so they already have that masculine side that they're trying to get, and they're just, they didn't need to find their balance. And then us, the men, we're overly masculine too, and so we need to get our feminine side back, and eventually we become androgynous, both in our thinking and also in our bodies as well. But that's after we become light beings. That's not why we're here in physical. So that's that's an aspect of what Twin Flame is about, is meeting a being who's a perfect masculine and feminine balance to you, outside, kind of in a sense outside of you, and then balancing your energies, and then you balance their energies, and then you ascend into the higher realms, and that keeps going on. And so but it goes down into every single thing about us, about our bodies. Men having their straight and narrow kind of bodies, and women having their more curvier bodies, and men having a straight and narrow vision sight. We have tunnel vision, and the women, they see, I guess, I don't know the word for that. But I guess I'll just explain it. Like, a man, when he looks at parts, women look at wholes. They can look at the whole. So, if you walk into a room and you stood in front of a woman, she doesn't have to look you up and down to see you. She can just see your whole body, just standing, just from the get go. And so, it goes into your brain, and how you think, like what makes you sexually attracted to women naturally, and what makes you sexually attracted to men naturally. There's a particular frequency or part of your brain that will be, I guess, if you looked at the overall design of it, it would be a masculine design. If you looked at the feminine design, it would be a feminine design. In a woman, there would be it would be overall feminine design. And so, it automatically makes you attracted to women. But there's other things too, where if a child won't really have that part of their brain developed as much, and so if they grow up, and it can go different ways, but it's a possibility that a child can grow up around women, and it can be a male child, and it can observe how it's feminine, the feminine people around them interact with men, and then that part of their brain will develop similar to the way their behavior is, and so they'll grow up to be homosexual, and it can go both ways for boys and girls. And then but then there's also souls that come into the earth with the particular DNA that causes their brain to already be like that. So there's a whole thing about, are gays, is it by choice, or are they born that way? It's neither, really. It can, I guess, be by choice. It's kind of weird to say that it's just people just go, oh, I'm gay now, but I don't think it really happens like that. I'm pretty sure it's kind of neither, and it can be a little of choice too, where, some souls are born that way. Some souls develop it from their environment, from circumstance, and then ultimately it does come down to choice, but it's not the easiest choice. It's kind of like saying, you have an arm. Are you choosing to have an arm? You can just cut that arm off and just get, it's a part of your body. It's a part of who you are, in a sense. So it doesn't have to be there, but it's gonna take some sort of struggle to get rid of that or change it. So So you know, that's masculine and feminine. I mean, it goes into everything. Let me see. I have some more stuff here, more diagrams. I think I already pretty much showed everything though. Yeah, I mean, I pretty much showed everything already. Well, I'll show you this, just so you can get some more visuals. Yeah, let me do this real fast. Okay, so we're gonna look at these two just patterns that I drew up, and you know, we'll say the blue is masculine and the red is feminine, and they can be anything. I mean, they can represent anything. We can say that they can be a molecule, they can be a particle, they can represent a person or a being or a multiverse or something. It doesn't matter what it is. And so, you know, these are, if you look closely, they are equal and opposite. Where you see the blue here, the red here, there's red, there's blue here, and when you see where you see the blue here, there's red here, and then there's something else going on in the center too, if you see that. And you know, they are twin flame, and you know, I guess, you know, that's really where the masculine and feminine thing goes down to, is, you know, on every single level. It doesn't matter what you look at that as, that's what it's going to be. And so let's just say that, let's say, well, I want to say this, you know, everything is masculine and feminine, there's nothing else. There's no third or fourth or any other thing like that type of energy. It's either going to be a more masculine being or a more feminine being. You know, it could be very, very, very masculine with a little feminine. It can be very, very, very feminine with a little bit of masculine. It can be, you know, just very feminine and, you know, kind of masculine or whatever. It can be any variation of masculine and feminine. You know, the world we see here, I mean, it's pretty, I mean, it's super detailed, but it's very action limited. Very, very limited. Our thinking here and of just the possibilities of what there can be, what kind of beings there can be, the way beings can behave, and whatever else. Let me see. I think I'm gonna wrap this up. Masculine and feminine energies is pretty simple. It's something that people wonder about when they first hear about it, because they just wonder, you know, where am I? And what am I? And, you know, what does it mean to me? And it's just, you know, whether you're in a human body that's feminine or masculine, or rather male or female, you know, there's some sort of balancing if you want to evolve. And that's just if. It doesn't really make any difference to anyone else. It's about you. And so, you know, it's just your choice. You can choose to have any balance of masculine and feminine that you want. It's not so much about finding a certain balance, and you'll be better than you were or whatever. It just, where do you want to go with it? You can let go of your masculinity and find a complete imbalance of it, and become a, you know, just overly masculine being if you want to, or the opposite way. Ultimately, as far as the whole of creation goes, and the universe goes, since there is kind of a pull and momentum that's kind of going in a particular direction, and you can go whatever way you want to, but things around you are still going to keep changing, and the universe is still going in a particular direction. So, or at least as far as I know, and so, you know, we're all just rebalancing each other. There are feminine energies that are coming into the earth, and from all around, and from the higher realms, from the center of the galaxy, and wherever else, people just awakening spiritually, which is a feminine energy compared to the energies that are here now. You know, there is a feminine energy coming in and transmuting this age into the next age, which is the age of ascension. So, you know, it does go into that, where we have large cycles of femininity in the world, that are overly feminine, and then a masculine force will come. I'll just give you the story, a story. You know, Atlantis was a super feminine continent and civilization, where this was over 13,000 years ago, and it ranges from 13,000 years ago to over 100,000 years, over 160,000 years. You know, with the Lemurians, who were the people who came from Lemuria, the civilization before Atlantis, into Atlantis. So you can call them the Atlanteans or the Lemurians, doesn't matter. But they were very feminine people, and they were very childish people. They walked around, everyone, even the grown people, walked around like with the consciousness of a 12-year-old child. They were just very childish and creative beings, and they had a perception in the fourth dimension. They didn't see this here, or they might have seen both at the same time. But at some point in time, a race called the Anunnaki came to the Earth, and they were a super masculine based thing. They were basically the complete opposite of the people that were already on the Earth, and they had the consciousness. Every single one of the people of the Martians, or the Anunnaki, they're Martians. Every single one of the Martians had the consciousness of a 60-year-old, every single one of them. And so they were just these super scientific-minded people that just thought evil, and that's all they did, was just take over and destroy and whatever else. And so they came in and they brought us into the age we have here. Ultimately, and there's more that goes into that story, but I'm not going to go into it. So anyways, you know, then we come to this age, and we start from a masculine kind of place, and you know, we keep going up, and then that's why God destroys the earth, because we're terrible, or so-called God destroys the earth, as far as the metaphor goes in the Bible, and then you know, again, it happens again, and we start from where we left off, and we come up till now, and we have this instead of the earth being destroyed, which it got destroyed in Atlantis, after Atlantis, and it got destroyed during the deluge, and then instead of destroying it, we're saving it with the feminine energy, with the awakening, and so it just keeps going on and on. So that's masculine and feminine energies. It's happening everywhere, all the time. It is you, it is me, and it is one.